Oh, hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, depending on which part of this country that you're in. You're watching Rebel Roundup. It's our daily news and opinion show. I'm your regular host, Sheila Gunn Reid, and I'm joined today by my co-host from beautiful Cobourg, Ontario, Tamara Ugolini. Tamara, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. I actually just found a spider crawling
Oh,
in
great.
my blanket, so I apologize in advance if I don't know where it went. So I hope it's not on me. But anyway, if you hear me shriek, that's because there's a spider somewhere in my midst. So other than that, I'm good. How are you, Sheila?
I'm doing great. Killing spiders is a blue job.
Yeah, right? Where's my husband when I need him?
Yes. Let's tell everybody what we're doing around here because we've got a ton of news to get to, including, I don't know if our viewers tuned in, but earlier today, the debates commissioner testified, I think it was before PROC, so that's House Procedures Committee, and our boss, Ezra Levant, did a live stream of that where he live reacted to the bungling debates commissioner who created a toxic workplace environment for independent journalists and who canceled the media scrum on the second day of the federal leaders debate because he couldn't, the bare minimum, ask the mainstream media to just behave their damn selves. He didn't do that. So, anyways, if when you're done watching us, I suggest you go back and watch that. I'll tell everybody what we're doing, and then we'll get right into the news. So, if you are watching us on Rumble, excellent free speech platform. If you want to get involved in the show while simultaneously supporting the work that we do around here at Rebel News, you can leave a Rumble rant. That's their pay chat over there. If it's over the $5 US cutoff, we're reading it on air. If it's under that, we'll do our very best to get to it, time permitting. Time's a little tight today. If you are watching us on YouTube, that's a censorship platform, but they have a convenient way for the 2 million of you who watch us over there to support us, and that's by way of a super chat. Same rules apply, and if you miss the live version of the show, you can leave a super thanks. That's their paid and highlighted comment, and we just thank you so much for choosing to spend what little bit of your money is left in your pocket after the Liberals are done with it to support the little network that could. So I think that's it. Let's get to this video here. Steve McKinnon tells the press that his party, so Liberal MP Steve McKinnon, says that they're actually trying to poach even more Conservative MPs to join the Liberal Party of Canada. Let's watch this.
In the past, you've alluded to the fact that you said the Liberals were talking to more MPs who are unsatisfied with their parties about joining yours. Where does that stand right now? Is that still the case?
Oh, I think very much so. I think that Canadians who live in Conservative ridings look at their MPs and wish they would spend more time proposing solutions, participating in this great project on which we've embarked to build Canada more strong and to continue to diversify our supply chains, to continue to develop markets abroad, and to continue to push our economy.
In the past, you've alluded to the fact
What in the hell is he talking about?
They had 10 years to
They
do
didn't.
all of this work.
They didn't build
done
anything.
anything.
They didn't build anything. We're still fighting with the Americans. We have no way to get our oil and gas to market. The MOU that they signed with Alberta is completely useless. In fact, in some instances, like CNRL, they've decided to not go ahead with project expansion because they don't trust the Liberals in Ottawa. Maybe you'll be able to get a wishy-washy Conservative MP, but what these people aren't doing is putting it to the voters, because the voters are really in charge of that seat. And when they go behind everyone's back, make secret deals, cross the floor, like you, Matt Genereux, it alienates the viewers or the voters. In fact, I'm about to do something to try to help NDP voters, me of all people, because that seat belongs to the people who sent the MP there and not the MP. So, Conservative MPs, you saw what happened to Matt Genereux. This is your warning. We will do to you what we did to him. We'll rough him up politically speaking. We'll billboard truck you, and maybe more. And if people want to sign that petition, they can go to firematt.com, Matt Genereux being the Edmonton Riverbend MP who, like the latest NDP one, said, oh, no, 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 I'm never going to cross the floor to the Liberals. You're crazy. And then literally did it 2 months later. He did it 2 months later. She did it 2 months later. So, I mean, this is just absolutely galling that the Liberals would, you know, court these crossover MPs and completely undermine the will of the Canadian people.
That's just it. And there's such obviously sleazy backroom deals happening throughout all of this, and has really highlighted for Canadians, once again, the inherent deficiencies in our political system. When you could have a handful of MPs cross the floor in the matter of, I think it's been less than a year, 8 months to 8 to 12 months, arguably changing the entire political landscape of the country from a minority government into what the Liberals are now, which is just 2 seats away from having that majority that they've been sleazily going through these backdoor channels to try to secure, instead of, as you said, Sheila, putting it to the voters. There needs to be some sort of legislative changes for floor crossers, where they immediately have to go to a by-election or hit the polls again, and make sure that the people who voted them in for the position that they were running in at the time still want that individual representing them, shall they choose to change their entire political tune and arguably platform. This should not be allowed.
Right. And that's not just a conservative housewife's opinion. That's the opinion of the people. So new data from Angus Reid finds that only 1 in 4 Canadians say that if their MP crossed the floor, they should be allowed to serve out their term under their new party colors. More than 41% prefer that if an MP crosses the floor, they should have to step down and recontest their seat in a by-election. 1 in 5 say they should serve as an independent in the next election, and 1 in 10 believe that they should vacate their seat. So an overwhelming majority of people, when given the option, would not have their MP just waltz across to the other side to take a salary top up because they're getting some sweet gig on some board as a special advisor, or even sit in cabinet. Only 1 in 4 think that this is perfectly fine. And yet, they're doing it. And also, in spite of all this, and someone explained this nonsense to me, well, this is Polling Canada, so take that for what you will.
Propaganda poll store.
Yeah, they say that 54% of Albertans see Mark Carney favorably, and 54% or 51% of Albertans see Poilievre favorably. That's crazy. I don't believe that. But I do think that those numbers are probably hold in the GTA.
Yeah, I wonder if they just polled everyone in Calgary, probably.
Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton, and that's what the poll comes up with. I don't believe that for a minute, and it's just the inversion of reality that we continue to see by the propagandists, where they say, don't believe what you see and hear. Trust us, we know best. And this swaying of political opinion through this kind of propaganda is something that I think the public has become more finely attuned to in recent years, especially throughout and in the post-COVID pandemic era. This is an inversion, I would say, of the actual reality in Alberta, and likely only polled, excuse me, a very small subset of the population there.
Yeah, I don't see how that it could possibly be true. It's wild.
Also, what
ahead.
about the independents? Were they just excluded from, how do you factor in that growing sentiment in Alberta into a poll like this?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you do. Like, I just, If I had to drill down on those numbers, and I think was that a Leger poll? I don't remember. I'll dig down on the numbers because they actually normally show where they're sampling from. And frequently, oh, it's liaison. Okay, well, I'll up for later on in the week or maybe next week, I'm going to drill down on the numbers of where they source the data from because it's very frequently once you look at it and they show where they polled, it's usually Edmonton, a little bit from Calgary, and then the surrounding areas, which is how you tweak these numbers to look exactly the way you want them to.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to pull it up quickly, but looks like it's not a very quick thing. Yeah, and that is exactly what as I mentioned, people have become finely attuned to, is that inversion ability when you tamper with the data and you can fudge the numbers and make things look and appear to be a certain way by fudging the numbers, fudging who you poll, those demographics. So I think, people can no longer trust what they see on the surface, and you always have to dig down a little bit deeper to see the real picture of what's going on.
Yeah. And I mean, in this latest floor crosser, like literally 2 months ago, denied that she would cross the floor and actually said, Mark Carney's failing the North. He's failing the North. And then now she's crossed the floor. And I think Mark Carney today is in Nunavut to make all kinds of funding announcements.
Of course. Well, and it follows a bunch of funding announcements that she has received in recent months. And sorry, there's a clip playing here. And she also called the Liberals a cult in one of her previous, like 2 months ago, posts on X. And so I guess all of a sudden, well, she's just joined the cult. So it's fun to be able to dig back, right? The internet is for forever, and thankfully we have tools like the Wayback Machine, archive.org, and you can actually check links to see how they've changed over the last few to several years, depending how far back you want to go. And that's where people have dug up a lot of interesting things on this NDP floor crosser, her background, some of her familial ties, and the funding that she has received recently.
Yeah, you know what? Since we're moving kind of fast, I'm gonna drop a clip in here, of her denying what she was potentially offered. But I mean, Carney's in Nunavut today, so you tell me. Do you see that, Olivia? Yeah, let's play that.
Like with any complicated issue, it wasn't just one thing that happened. There are a variety of many things that have allowed me to really reflect on this, and I'm very thankful to be so warmly welcomed. Like with any complicated...
Yeah, you're going to be warmly welcomed because you're literally being love bombed by the Liberals. Mark Carney wants this majority government. He's desperately clinging to power because it's only so far served to enrich himself and the Brookfield bros. And so, of course, they're going to give you the warmest welcome. They want you to join their cult. You called it a cult however many months ago. The cult's giving you your love bombing warmest welcome. And thanks for being a useful pawn in their chess game of politicking, because, I mean, that clip just proves it.
Yep. No, we showed that yesterday. Don Davies being angry with Idlout. It was Don Davies, the interim leader of the NDP. By the way, she just endorsed Avi Lewis like 120 seconds ago for leader of the NDP. And now all of a sudden she's like, no, you know what? Mark Carney's the man for me. And Avi Lewis is like a deranged far left socialist on every single issue. And then you cozy up to the crooked bankster Mark Carney. Like, I remember when the NDP were sort of against that sort of stuff, but I guess not. The NDP are not the same. And you know what? To be fair, not the NDP are not. The NDP today are not quite the NDP of Jagmeet Singh. Maybe they're finding their roots, but this is quite something to see.
Yeah, and I wanted to jump ahead to Pierre Poilievre
Yeah,
because
please.
he's coming out strong in recent weeks. Ever since he gave that speech at the Canada, I can't remember the Canada event. The name is eluding me, but he made this announcement that he's heading to the United States today. So this was actually just posted late yesterday afternoon, to stand up for Canadians and Canadian workers and fight for, as he writes here on X, tariff-free access to our closest neighbor and the world's largest economy. Listen to this.
This week, I'll be heading to the United States to stand up for Canada and Canadian workers. First stop, Michigan, where I'll meet with auto leaders and state legislators to defend an integrated North American auto industry and fight for tariff-free trade that protects Canadian jobs. Then I'm off to Texas to advocate for Canadian energy because our resources make both our countries stronger, safer, and richer. And finally, I'm headed to New York to deliver a keynote address on the historic partnership between Canada and the United States, two neighbors, allies, and economic partners. As I said in a recent speech, we need to leverage the relationship we have with the American people. We should all be reaching out to American business, unions, media, governors, investors, mayors, civic leaders, and the administration itself as we work to fight for tariff-free trade and security cooperation. Look, Canada can't control every decision made in Washington, and I'll leave the negotiating up to our government. But we can leverage the goodwill and shared interests with the American people. And we can control what we do here at home by building our economy, unblocking our resources, and becoming stronger and more self-reliant. By building our leverage to achieve our objectives. That's how we defend Canadian workers. That's how we protect our sovereignty. And that's how we build a Canada that is stronger at home and unbreakable abroad.
Finally.
Finally, that's exactly what we wanted. And maybe he's somewhat inspired by Jamil Javani's trip down there, but this is exactly what we should have seen from him in the lead up to the last election. This attempt to heal the relationship, to speak directly to those lawmakers, which is what Danielle Smith did. As soon as Trump got elected, she was down there. She was talking to Republican lawmakers. She was at Mar-a-Lago, and then she was attending conservative conferences down there so that she could speak directly to them. This is what you need to do. You need to be the grown-up who says, these are our friends. We have to sit down and sort this out. There's not enough trade with the Europeans to ever offset our trade and military relationship with the Americans.
Or China, for that matter.
Yeah.
With Europeans or China. I think that this is, better late than never, but so long overdue for the Conservatives when they could have come out like this a year ago, I think, and said, Trump is highlighting real concerns we have in Canada with our national security, with the opioid crisis problems, the flow of illicit transnational crime syndicates that are operating here with near impunity in recent decades. And we are going to start to really shine a light on that and come up with a plan on how to address this so that we can facilitate and leverage and keep the relationship that we have with our closest ally, historical partner in all things, the Americans. And Trump is shining a light on all of this. We're heeding that warning, and here is our plan. But no one did that. Instead, Justin Trudeau just waddled around like a dog with his tail between his legs, waited until Trump actually did the tariffs, called the snap election. Mark Carney, Canada was a political and arguably still is a political dumpster fire throughout that last year. But everything that Trump has done, he has said he was going to do. And we just didn't heed the warning, didn't come up with a plan. And now find ourselves, you know, with our pants down, basically. And so I think the Conservatives finally coming out strong like this is much needed, but also much overdue. And there was a massive missed opportunity this past year to do that. So, and that is something that Danielle Smith, as you say, was very strong on. She took it seriously right from the onset. She tightened up border security along the Alberta border with the drones, the drug dogs, increased border control. And then, you know, you have the Liberals who are just thinking, I guess, that none of this was going to actually come to fruition with the tariffs. And well, here we are living it.
Yeah. Yeah. And credit where it's due. The first MP that started this was Michelle Rempel. Michelle Rempel Garner. She used to be Michelle Rempel. Then she was Michelle Rempel Garner because she's married to an American veteran. And so she splits her time between here and Oklahoma, where her extended family is, or her grandkids and her children are now. But she stood up and said, like, this is crazy to fight with the Americans this way. They are our friends, and we got to figure this out. And then Jamil Javani, using his connections to the White House, because one of his good friends is, of course, the vice president. He went down there. He said, I don't care what you say about me. I'm going down there because this matters to the people of Oshawa. And now Pierre Poilievre is going. So a complete change in tone. I'm sure the elbows up Liberal voting boomers in the East and Central Canada are going to find this abrasive and maple MAGA, as they love to say. But this relationship that we currently have with the Americans, it's never been like this before. This is all brand new, fighting with the Americans. We exist as a comfortable country because the Americans led us, and we should never forget that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Carney got up on the world stage and multiple times just on the national stage and said that our relationship with the United States is over as we knew it before, multiple times. So I am really glad to see the Conservatives come out and try to mend those tensions. And that doesn't mean compromising on, you know, our sovereignty, but we have to make it work. Clearly, they have the upper hand, and that has become increasingly clear as Canadians feel it in their pocketbooks. And so I think the best thing for all Canadians is to mend the relationship, to have the diplomacy that you see being espoused by Poilievre. And why wouldn't you want to mend that relation? That it just seems, again, I know it's their policy, their platform is common sense, but really it does make true, exact common sense. I just look at the time. I think maybe we should go to a quick ad break and then come back and talk about some of the treaty nonsense happening.
Oh my God.
Just the irony, complete irony with this, what's happening in Alberta separation, land rights, land back nonsense. So let's hit a quick ad and we'll come back for some of that.
Gun bans make great distractions.
Trudeau may be gone, but Carney has picked up his same rhetoric.
We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of
Hunters, collectors, competitors, and defenders of tradition are still being targeted, while criminals run wild under Liberal policy. But we are fighting back. Join us, Canada's National Firearms Association, in defense of freedom.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters, including record investments in education. Budget 2026 is focused on giving students the best opportunities to succeed. That's why we're following through on our commitment to hire 3,000 more teachers and 1,500 more EAs. It also focuses on fast-tracking the construction and renovation of 161 schools across the province. Budget 2026, focused on what matters.
All right. Do you want to do the message from our friends at Rumble Wallet?
Yeah, sure. Now that I'm not suffering from a disgusting head cold, I can take on the Rumble Wallet ad read. So this comes, as I mentioned, from the Rumble Wallet. They can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters now more than ever. Introducing Rumble Wallet. It's a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission, no middlemen, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics, it's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of
right.
big banks and big gov and big chiefs, we have one of them, Canadian chief. I had this pulled up here, and now, of course, it's not loading for me. But one of the Treaty 6 chiefs
Yep.
flew to London to meet with King Charles III at
Look, if you want
Buckingham
to go to
Palace.
London, go to London, right? Like, just go. Don't make a big nonsensical deal about it. But yeah, he flew to London. It's Grand Council Chief Joey Pete of the Confederacy of Treaty 6 First Nations, so that's northern Alberta. Like from like the northern half is Treaty 6. He was among a delegation of 7 Indigenous leaders from Alberta and Saskatchewan who met privately with the king. He said in an interview with CTV News from London that he came away encouraged by the conversation and felt his concerns were heard. And he said he raised concerns about division, and he believes the division that talk of Alberta separation is creating. I brought up the hardships on all Albertans when it comes to the division it's caused. So, I don't know what he's doing. Like, again, I say, if you want to visit Buckingham Palace, go. Just go. But you realize that the king is a ceremonial parliamentary figurehead, right? Like, he can't stop us from leaving. Like and he's not going to get involved. He's not, and I don't get this motivation for Indigenous chiefs who simultaneously out of one side of their mouth say that the Crown and then its proxy Canada further down the line have committed genocide against them, while simultaneously wanting to force the rest of us to stay within Confederation. Look, is Canada good or bad?
Yeah, that's the irony in all of this. Just, you can't ignore it. These are the same people demanding land back, calling Canada a bunch of racist colonizers, now arguably going to the figurehead of all of that, to demand that the Crown keep Alberta in the country. I mean, the irony, you just can't ignore it in this. There are no words other than this is complete and utter lunacy.
Yeah. I mean, just hypocrisy. By the way, if Indigenous people want sovereignty for themselves, why can't I have it? If you want self-government, okay. But why are you the only people entitled to this? If you see that there's a broken relationship between you and the Crown, me too. Me too, brother. So why are you forcing all of us, or trying to, you're not gonna, one person, one vote. Why are you forcing the rest of us to stay? I'm agreeing with him when I say that the Crown has let down Indigenous people. I'm agreeing with him. I'm also saying that people have a right to self-determination. I agree with him there. But why does it stop at Indigenous peoples and not Albertans writ large, Indigenous or not?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so completely out of touch, and even more so out of touch. We have this land acknowledgement, I don't know, call out posted by, I think this is one of the Liberal MPs. Yeah, for Vancouver Quadra and Parliamentary Secretary Wade Grant. So First Nations, and this really reads to me like a complete AI generated, try to be snarky,
yeah,
kind of.
It's when boomers try to do Zoomer talk, and it just lands like a lead balloon.
Yes, exactly. So they're calling out. They're basically calling out MP Aaron Gunn on, when he talks about how these land acknowledgements are ridiculous and they're not harmless, as the country and the political class primarily has been led to believe. And so I don't know, maybe I should just read this whole thing because it's absolute nonsense.
It's just cringe. Like, it's so cringy.
We should have saved this for the daily dose of cringe.
Yeah.
But so it's titled "MP Crashes Out Over Harmless Land Acknowledgements. Local Chiefs Reassure Aaron Gunn. Chillax, bud." So chiefs from four First Nations communities are urging the public to please approach Aaron Gunn with no caution whatsoever. He's completely harmless, though momentarily unsettled by the alarming possibility that someone might acknowledge the land before a meeting. Yesterday on social media, the MP appeared to crash out and demand to speak to the manager of land acknowledgements, a position that observers confirm does not exist. Chiefs whose territories make up the riding had 2 words for the MP: chillax, bud. So professional. Land acknowledgements have never seized private property yet, canceled a mortgage. Actually, they kind of have. Repossessed a pickup truck or altered a single title deed anywhere in Canada yet. They're simply people recognizing the history of the place where they are standing. I mean, how far back do we want to go? They say no one is going anywhere. Canada will survive this brief moment of honesty. Until then, chiefs across the region continue to reassure the public that land acknowledgements have not, to date, resulted in any land back. They seem to be forgetting like the glaring precedent set last August by Justice Barbara Young in the British Columbia Supreme Court, that upheld or rather that granted land title to the Cowichan First Nation, who successfully ultimately argued that areas of British Columbia's lower mainland actually belongs to them. And so that decision has such sweeping implications and repercussions that it's been withheld while they try to figure out what exactly this means for land title, not only in that area, in the province, but for the rest of Canada. This has sweeping implications. And so I think very much so when they say land acknowledgements have not to date resulted in any land back, they're completely disregarding that legal precedent set and ruled on last August and what the implications could be or will be moving forward once it's figured out how that is even implemented.
Like telling people to chillax while dozens of people's mortgages are in question. Just chill out. Oh, you just nuked my retirement plan. You know, you nuked my single largest asset. It's all in question. Just chill out. Get lost. And if it's no big deal, why do you get raked over the coals if you don't do it? Right? Like, why are you called a racist if you don't do this performative nonsense at the start of every press conference? If you don't, they come at you. So pick a lane. Is it no big deal? Or does it mean something? And if it does mean something, then maybe we should be concerned about reciting it all the time.
Well, and I mean, if you've been following Drea Humphreys' reporting on this, there have been landowners, private property owners in British Columbia whose mortgage renewals have been denied due to this ongoing First Nations land claim. I'm trying to find his name to pull up the report. It was in October, I believe it was, that this first came out. But And more recently, there was another gentleman whose mortgage renewal was
Yeah.
denied in British Columbia, I think just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, this is having implications on private property rights because there's so much uncertainty, right? Justice Young basically just said, yeah, we give the land title back, but we don't actually, like, the court didn't actually decide what that tangibly means for land title and moving forward with all of this stuff. So this, I think, needs to be heavily fact checked. This AI generated nonsense where someone's just trying to be witty on social media. I think that it needs a more fulsome fact check because there are implications for seizing private property, canceling mortgages. I don't know about the repossession of a pickup truck, but it's definitely going to alter title deeds in Canada. This is a crazy thing to claim otherwise.
No. To make it seem like nothing while simultaneously forcing people to recite this, to go through this Maoist style struggle session of reciting it all the time because it's so very important. Which one is it, guys?
Yeah, exactly. If it has no meaning, if there's nothing tangible coming out of it, why are we doing it? And if it does, well, then everything that you wrote here is null and void.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Naheed Nenshi. So our Liberal leader, or sorry, NDP leader. We don't have a Liberal Party in Alberta. Well, I think we do, but nobody knows who they are. So Naheed Nenshi, he is the NDP leader in Alberta, and he's the former failed mayor of Calgary who oversaw the infrastructure collapse there, particularly with water. He's saying that the Treaty 6 chiefs showed real leadership today by meeting with King Charles III and standing up for treaty rights. Treaty rights are not optional. They are the foundation of this province and the promise Canada was built on. If Alberta wants to move forward with more projects, pipelines, energy, and economic development, it won't happen by ignoring First Nations. It will happen by building relationships grounded in respect and by honoring treaty rights. Who says we're not honoring treaty rights? In fact, the Alberta government does more than the federal government with regard to on reserve health care for Indigenous people struggling with opioid addiction. So even though Indigenous healthcare is the federal mandate, instead of allowing Indigenous people to die en masse of opioid poisoning, the provincial government has ramped up treatment beds on reserve. Instead of them having to leave to Edmonton or Calgary or Lethbridge or Medicine Hat, they can seek treatment on reserve. And that's the federal government supposed to be doing that. But the federal government is not honoring their treaty obligations to provide healthcare in that manner to Indigenous people. We also have an entire provincial agency, a crown corporation here in the province that's mandated to work with Indigenous peoples for business opportunities, particularly when it comes to oil and gas. So we have no problem with partnerships with Indigenous people. It's the federal government blocking their access to those opportunities by not allowing oil and gas projects to go forward. So Nenshi can stuff it.
As per usual, I think.
Yes.
And so all of this is really coming to a head because of the Alberta separatist movement that is gaining traction in the province. And you see people who are in stark opposition to this, which seems to be fewer and further between than the majority. But anyway, so much so that they are out assaulting independence canvassers.
Yes.
There you have it again, in Calgary. So this, do we have a full clip, or is there just, I think there's just screenshots of the clip?
No, I think Marty up north has the full clip. He published the full clip, and it's quite something. It's real vicious, and it's so much so that Elections Alberta had to put out a statement yesterday about the harassment of canvassers after what's been happening to the independence petition canvassers. Now, they didn't specifically point to it, but it came out like the day after Marty published the full video. Do we have that? No, well, Olivia says okay, so this is one. Maybe we can go
Maybe
to
there's more.
there's multiple. These people are lunatics. Let's go to this first one. It's pictures, and they do always look exactly the way you think they might. Let's look at this one first. Okay, so this woman assaulted one of our canvassers at the corner of Elbow and Canyon Meadows Drive. I know that corner very well. We will be reporting her to the police, and we have an eyewitness willing to attest to the assault, and we have her license plate. It's a very Karen look about her.
Oh, I think hold on. I think I might, the clip might be in the next, link. Oh no, it's just these stills. Anyway, if anyone has the link to a full
okay,
clip.
we've got Marty's. We've got Marty's
Okay.
Aggressive grandma.
Oh, this is another one.
Single. Karen. You don't need to yell at people.
Karen.
It's very rude, and I'm sure your mother would be disgusted. My mother is dead. Exactly. Good My mother's dead. Good thing, 'cause she wouldn't like how you're acting. You know what? She wouldn't like how
you're interfering with officials from Elections Alberta carrying out canvassing duties.
Even know who
Go
you
away.
are,
Go away.
I'm Reid.
Go away. Go away. Go away.
50 years.
I'm going to record your car. Let go of my fucking shirt. Let go of my shirt, you fucking crazy old bat. This crazy old bat just grabbed my shirt and tried to grab my phone out of my hand. She doesn't want me to see her fucking license plate. You're going to stay here until I get your license plate. You have just crossed.
Anyway, people are just getting unhinged.
Yeah.
I assume that's also in Calgary.
I think it's south of Calgary. But this is what the canvassers are facing. I'm just going to see if I can bring up the Elections Alberta statement about like leaving them alone. You know what? If you don't like the petition canvassers, you know what you do in the referendum? You vote to stay. You don't go and harass them and then thus ruin your own life. Because now your face is everywhere. You're probably going to get charged with mischief, the catch-all offense. Maybe you'll get charged with assault if you're grabbing people like a deranged, crazy person. Just leave them alone and then vote to stay. Like they're allowed to have their say.
The same theory as, scroll on by, as they say online, if you there's something there that you just don't agree with and you can't keep your comments to yourself, then just scroll on. The same thing happens in real life. You can just move on.
Harassment of canvassers. Nearly every petition campaign has reported instances of canvasser harassment, including abusive, derisive, threatening, insulting, offensive, or provocative statements, gestures, or actions. Now, I have yet to see anything even coming close to this happening to the recall campaigners, although I don't think those recall campaigners were out on the street. Like, they didn't work very hard at all. That's why all their recall petitions failed. I don't think the Forever Canada people were harassed in such a way. I really don't. We would have heard a lot about it. The media would have made a hell of a big deal about it if even a little bit of it happened. But what's happening out there to these volunteer petition canvassers who are doing this on their own time out in the horrible cold, and it's windy as hell outside lately. People are driving by, seeing them, stopping their cars, and not just accosting them and screaming at them, but physically assaulting them. And it's happening with such ferocity that Elections Alberta had to put out a news release telling people to contact local law enforcement if you encounter one of these raging Karens out in the wild. It's almost always women, isn't it? There's a real problem with not giving women of a certain age proper menopause care, I think. That's what I think. We're not taking it seriously enough.
Get your thyroid checked. It's all those grandmas at the curling.
Get off the Teflon.
The curling rink. The curling club. who,
Yeah.
you know, the CBC has just
Right.
radicalized these people
This
to
is what
be
happens.
deranged lunatics. And here
This
they
is
are
what's
out in the
happening
wild.
at the curling club.
Yeah. Check your thyroid, disentangle yourself from the curling club
Right.
cult,
Get your
and
hormone levels
touch some
checked.
grass.
Get your hormone levels checked. Get off the Teflon. Put some tallow on it and read the Bible, because you're not. I mean, you can't be proud of yourself acting like that out in public. You can't see a video of yourself doing that and feel good about what you did. I mean, maybe
No.
they do, but I just don't let the moment take you. And these ladies are letting the moment take them. Don't do it.
Deep breaths.
Yes.
Deep breaths. All right. I think so. We got all the headliners, but I really want to touch on this Jason Kenney post. So this goes back to the guy who the transport truck driver who was responsible for taking out the Humboldt Broncos bus. So many of you
Yes.
remember, I think it was 2015 or 16.
16, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some, you know, just over a decade ago, when this permanent resident who
with a history of poor driving,
yes,
by the way, should not have been behind the wheel.
A criminal driving record,
blew a stop sign
in complete clear weather, right? There was no adverse weather conditions on this particular day. So he blew through a four-way stop and took out this bus carrying a young hockey team. Took the lives of 16 Canadians and then injured 13 more. Young, fit, healthy
prime
boys.
Of their life. Yeah.
Yeah, with their whole lives ahead of them. 16 of them gone in an instant because of someone who could not follow the rules of the road in Canada. And so he has been fighting deportation ever since. He was supposed to serve, I think, an 8-year sentence, but by the time all of this got through the courts, I think it had already been 2 or 3 years. That gets tacked on to time served because thanks Canadian justice system. And he ended up only serving 3.5 years in jail for killing
that's
16
a couple of months
teenagers.
That's like a handful of months per kid that he killed. Plus he injured 13 others.
An absolute, just absolute horrible justice system on full display here. And so anyway, the part of the his punishment was going to jail for killing 16 young Canadians and seriously injuring 13 more. Almost 30 people here were affected permanently, lifelong, by this one man's actions.
This is a small town, by the way. So this is a scar in this small town that will never heal. Never. Now he wants to stay in Canada. He's fighting his deportation. Any man with a sense of shame and dignity would have put himself on the next plane out. But he's fighting to stay here. And some of the families have spoken out and said, get him out. And Jason Kenney, who has put down his federalist nonsense for a second to come to his senses, has said, this is what he tweeted: "Enough is enough. Deport him now. This criminal driver took the lives of 16 young Canadians, seriously injured 13 more. As I said, when I was Canada's immigration minister," and man, he did do a good job at immigration. The structured immigration system that we had that Justin Trudeau wrecked, he did. The minute that a foreign criminal's custodial sentence is over, a CBSA vehicle should take them directly to the airport for removal to their country of origin. This is not complicated. To the bleeding hearts who cannot stomach deportation of convicted foreign criminals, why do you think it's cruel or unusual punishment to be repatriated to India? It's a democratic country with the fastest growing economy on earth. It's not a death sentence. I always say this. It's the world's largest democracy. You're not being persecuted there. Get out. You might not like it. Canada's better. Not my problem. And where is your compassion for the victims, for the families who have been reliving this crime as he exploits every possible loophole? Yeah. Get out. Get out. Why is he still in the country? Take him, take those IRGC guys, charter a plane, drop them off. Do one trip. Stop in India, go up to Iran. We're done. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just reading some of the comments of people like, oh, I think
Sheila
that
Cops.
yeah, that's right. Came out and said, people can show basically their remorse. He did his time. Okay, he did not do
Right.
any sort of meaningful time for taking the lives of 16
Excuse me.
teenagers who had their whole lives ahead of them, who were doing nothing wrong other than going to a hockey tournament in their hockey bus and seriously injuring 13 others. And he served 3.5 years in jail. And
Yeah.
part of that sentence, part of him doing his time was supposed to be that he got deported at the end of it.
Right.
That was part of the sentence.
I don't know if Sheila Cops is back from Mexico yet, but I'd like to charter a plane to send her to Humboldt for 2 days. And she can explain to the people there why this guy should stay in the community. Get out.
Right.
Get out.
There's no reason to deport him. He killed 16 kids with his reckless actions,
And it's
reckless
not like
disregard.
and it's not like it's a one mistake. He had serious driving infractions leading up to this. The guy was a ticking time bomb, and he didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't care about our laws as his host country. Get out.
And the thing that really disturbs me, if we let this get a free pass, if this man is not deported, is that this now sets a precedent and sends that message that Canada is not serious about their laws. We see in the last 10 years since this horrific incident occurred, things have only gotten worse on our roads, primarily our highways and the back roads, Saskatchewan, Alberta, through the mountains, through British Columbia, because these drivers are scamming and scheming the system, coming into Canada, looking for a free pass, thinking that trucking is just this easy industry to get into, and oh, how hard is it to drive, scheming and scamming their way all through it. And the result is that Canadians have been put at risk on the roads in our country. And you can look to the news, you can look to social media to see repeated and regular occurrences of this happening. Scheming, the licensing, schools, driving, 3 people in a truck where they just rotate through on the same license so that they did never have a stop off and they can just continue driving through. So things in Canada haven't improved since this happened because nothing's changed. In fact, it's only gotten worse. And if this permanent resident who's supposed to be deported is not deported, that sends a message to everybody else that A, we don't take this seriously, and B, you can get away with it scot-free.
Yeah, and I don't need the media to trot out his wife or his family. I don't care about his wife or his family. I'm sorry, I just don't. I'm all out of caring for him and his family. They can go back to India. I care about the families of Humboldt. That's who I care about. This is suicidal empathy, and it has to end. He had no respect for our laws, and those lives are worth something. And not just the lives of the kids that were killed, the kids that were injured, their families, their extended families, the community. Like, this devastated Saskatchewan. He did it. He should have left in shame. He should have driven himself to the airport. Instead, he's fighting to stay. Canadian citizenship, if you are not born a citizen, it is it's a blessing to you.
A privilege.
It's a privilege. And you don't get it if you come here and kill us. You have to go.
Right. Yeah. The precursor to being Canadian is to also follow the law.
Right.
Where it makes sense. And here, it very much does. And I think that this was not only devastating to Saskatchewan, because here in Ontario, I mean, this rippled across Canada, but especially in the hockey communities. If you're a hockey family, if you've ever, that devastated the hockey communities, especially when you consider the future that some of these young men would have gone on to
some of them were future Olympians. Like, if you've ever been a parent that put your kid on a team bus and said, okay, bye, I'll see you on the other side. it's terrifying. It's terrifying because there's so many of us who've done that. Who just,
And
early morning, you put your kid on the team bus and you think they're going to go have fun. They're going to gain some independence away from you with their team members. And this is how it ended for these families.
right, you think you're giving them an opportunity, and here it ends up ending their life. And
Yep.
you have to factor in this speed in which you're moving to cause such damage to a massive bus
Yeah.
of this size and capacity, to kill 16 people and injure 13 others. I mean, that is massive. That is a massive disregard of the rules of the road anywhere you look at it. That crash was horrific. Its effects still ripple today, and that person should absolutely be deported to show that we're serious about following the law and the rules of the road in this country. Because in the aftermath of that, nothing has changed, and in fact, it's only gotten worse. So we have to take action now.
Right. I mean, his sentence was not enough to make an example of him, so maybe his deportation will be.
Yeah.
Should we? I think we've hit everything. Let's hit the cringes. There's a couple of cringes and a delight. So my I was going to say nemesis, but I don't care enough about him to call him a nemesis. Faye Johnstone is back, stealing women's opportunities.
Faye.
Oh, Faye. So Faye Johnstone is a biological man who gets millions of dollars through several different LGBTQ plus AI rackets from the federal government. It used to be Wisdom to Action. Now it's Queer Momentum, or just Momentum now.
Oh, that photo.
Looking
I thought it was
like
Rachel Gilmore for a second.
I was going to
but
say,
then I
looking
realized
like a
it was
Timu Rachel Gilmore.
Yeah.
Um,
She, they. What is a she? Anyway.
Anyway, you'll recall my interactions with Faye on the streets of Regina, where some of you liked my sunglasses, some of you really hated them. But Faye Johnstone was the keynote speaker at the Women of Distinction Awards put on by the YWCA in Regina, and I and my friend Lisa Merle could not abide it. So we incidentally were tootling around downtown Regina, and wouldn't you know it, saw Faye sticking out like a sore thumb trundling down the street. Didn't have much to say to me. Blew cigarette smoke in my face. Whatever. I do my best smoke in secondhand, so it didn't bother me none. But anyways, Faye has just been given an award by the famous Five Foundation in Ottawa on International Women's Day. Faye Johnstone advocate for gender justice and 2SLGBTQAI plus equality. Anyway, the famous Five were a group of accomplished women from the West who had the law changed to include women as persons under the law. Judges, lawyers, parliamentarians, provincial legislators, women who were trailblazers, who were advancing actual women's rights. And what a disgrace that they are awarding this mediocre man in leather pants and bad red hair dye and chalky red lipstick an award that should go to a woman. It's there's no place that these people won't steal from a woman. It's the greatest form of sexism against women, this awarding of men our awards. What a joke.
An award going to single-handedly a man who is undermining the gender justice of biological women, right? Because we want access to bathrooms. Oh gosh. Gender specific bathrooms, women's sports. I mean, all it does is undermine and compromise women's safety and if you want to frame it this way, our gender justice.
Oh, for sure. He's tweeted that he would like to silence women like me who think that there's no place for men in women's spaces. He wore that like protect trans kids shirt with the knife on it. What is that implying? What is that implying for women like me and you, Tamara, and Lise Merle and April Hutchinson? That's suggesting violence against us.
Simply if you don't want your daughter to be exposed to
somebody's wiener in the bathroom? Yeah.
Mentally ill wiener in your local YMCA family's change room.
Yeah, and there's no need to look so garish. You know, I think that's another big crime here is you don't have to look so garish. Women don't look like that, generally speaking, not mentally well ones anyway.
He sticks out like a sore thumb. There was one
That's
time.
how I saw him in Regina.
Funny story. I saw him walking down the streets of Ottawa. I was driving, so I couldn't get my camera out fast enough, and I wasn't about to waste time to turn around and approach Faye, who I believe was also smoking, just for the, to point that out. But I immediately was like, oh my gosh, that's Faye Johnstone, and how just unsettling the look was, because it's very clear that it's just making a mockery of what a woman would look like. And he was quite tall, if I can remember correctly. But I remember the just being very unsettled by the even just driving past in the street. And then I thought back to when you approached him in the street, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the whole vibe was just really gross feeling.
Yeah, easy enough to find in a place like Regina, that was for sure. Didn't have to look too hard. We've got one more cringe, and then we'll hit the Daily Delight. I haven't seen this one. It's from an NDP MP. Self-described, oh God, again, garish. Self-described trans femme full service. Good grief. Sex
What does
worker.
this even mean?
You know what, though? It wouldn't surprise me if they win the race in Hamilton.
Although, I don't know, Hamilton has a lot of freedom fighters there. I don't know.
They do, but their city council is crazy.
True.
Insane. Scarlett Gillespie, who previously went by the name Yelena, I think, Vermillion, announced his candidacy this week. On social media, Gillespie describes himself as fully vaccinated.
Oh, cute.
Times 5. So, anyways, I guess we'll find out if he survives his term as mayor with all those boosters. You know how the boosters affect the young men.
Maybe I don't want to know.
No, I'm scared of, I don't even want to
trans femme full service.
Sex worker. That's just a hooker? Just a regular old hooker?
Full service? But I have so many questions, and they're probably not appropriate to share.
I don't want them answered. I don't want your questions answered. Let's just leave them hang.
They're out. All right. Daily Delight. I haven't seen this either, but it's from an NDP.
Yeah, it's right? It's kind of funny. So meanwhile, NDP in Alberta. So this is an NDP canvasser caught on a door cam in Alberta, I think. So let's see.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Subdeep. I'm a volunteer on behalf of the Alberta NDP.
Oh, we don't like communists. Good luck.
Just straight.
Oh, Albertans.
Just straight. I love that.
Reminds me of the time the NDP canvassed Lise on Mother's Day, and it didn't go well.
On Mother's Day? Oh, yeah, because they don't probably recognize mothers.
No, I think it's the pinned post on Lisa's account, if we want to show that. Canada Proud made her famous but it was, and I think it was provincial NDP maybe. Anyways, they got her on Mother's Day. Lisa's fired up. I think she's got her vape in her hand, so she was outside vaping, trying to get some peace from her 6 children for a second. And this guy wanders up, and she just let him have it.
You believe that teachers should keep secrets from parents?
I may not agree with you, but
do you believe that teachers should keep secrets from parents?
Yes.
You do believe that they should keep secrets from parents?
Parents
get off my lawn.
Thank you, friend.
Oh, I like the door slam at the end there.
Yeah. Get off my lawn. So anyway, good for Lisa.
All right. Well, let's just run through these super chats, Rumble rants, whatever they are. Thanks, everybody. JP Alberta first gives $20. The logical play for Trump is to subtly back Alberta independence. Then the screws go to the rest of Canada to move China out and gain concessions on moving up north to solve whatever grievances the U.S. has for security.
Alex Greer 7700699, and he sent us an emoji. And Jade Toma 8318 gives us $5. We live on the land of the woolly mammoth, stolen by First Nations through the genocide of these great noble creatures.
Right? That's the land acknowledgement I'm here for.
Yeah.
Bring back the woolly mammoth. Where are the dinosaurs? Do we want to go down that rabbit hole? Probably not. We're 8 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, I just got my property tax bill from the county. I didn't steal this from anybody.
Right.
Right? Like I'm paying property taxes every single year. They continue to go up and up. Please tell me where I stole this from anybody. Yeah, this is just a mess. Although in Alberta, our chiefs think they're really doing something, but all of our land is ceded. The problem is places in British Columbia, Quebec, and the Ottawa Valley, where I'm actually cheering for the Indigenous bands there. The Ottawa Valley, I hope you take it. Do whatever you want with it. Take the Parliament buildings. I don't care.
Easy for you to say from the new country.
Exactly right. We're taking refugees. Don't worry.
All right. I might have to claim whatever the visa application process will be. Sheila is going to be my sponsor.
I'm going to stamp your passport. I just want to be in the kiosk in Lloydminster, welcoming people or turning them away. That's what I want to do. If I quit after separation, that's what I'm doing, and I'll do it for free.
That's where you'll find Sheila, right on the right on the line there in the border town.
Yeah.
Stamping or sending off.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks all for your super chats. Thanks everybody who made sure that you could find us here, because without your support and without the team effort, we would never be able to bring you this the news and sometimes this funny off the cuff commentary. So thanks everybody for keeping us afloat and for entertaining us during our daily dose of cringe and now our daily delight. We'll see you back here same time and place tomorrow, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. Until that time, stay sane and question everything.
Within the last 2 weeks, there has been violence targeting 3 synagogues in the GTA, as well as the attack on the United States consulate on Tuesday. These incidents have heightened concerns and contributed to a greater sense of fear and unease in the city. People are watching these developments closely, and that some are feeling concerned about how these tensions play out during Saturday's event. In particular, there are concerns about the potential for hateful rhetoric, as well as the possibility of confrontation between individuals or groups with opposing views. I want to be clear. The Toronto Police Service take all reports of hate very seriously. Our members will be present throughout the demonstration, and we will be actively monitoring for any incidents involving hate speech, hate-motivated crimes, hateful signage, or the display of symbols associated with terrorist organizations as designated by the Government of Canada. Any reported incident will be investigated, and it's important to remember that charges do not have to be immediate. Evidence gathered during or after an event can lead to charges being laid hours, days, or even weeks later. Anyone who engages in criminal activity should expect correction to be held accountable. Toronto is one of the most diverse cities in the world. People here hold a wide range of views and beliefs. Our shared responsibility is to ensure that our city remains safe, respectful, and welcoming for everyone.